So, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where this week we'll be talking through all of the action from Zandvoort, as well as making our predictions ahead of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza this weekend, where Chris will be experiencing things firsthand and definitely not gloating about it.
He's rolling people's seats because they had some of the grandstands not being built in time and stuff like that. Is it?
So, it wouldn't surprise me. They've gone, Ferrari are rubbish, nobody wants to come.
Yeah.
And no grandstand. There you go. Job good. Let's get a brief overview of the race, Ben.
I thought it was very good. I was like not going into Zandvoort. I was like, it's probably dull, but I felt it worked quite well, especially DRS moving back to get around the banked corner.
Yeah. Nia?
I suppose I didn't watch it. I wouldn't have. For the highlights, it looked exciting, especially with the pit stops. With Ferrari.
And so it begins. It pains me, but it's kind of becoming a weekly segment where it's just what went wrong this week. And on one side of the garage, quite a lot.
So we have quite a few of our personal segments now. We've got Lap Down Showdown and now How Ferrari this week.
Yeah. It's I've not seen that ever at all. And then
the only time I've seen where tyres haven't been ready for a pit stop, Germany 2019, where Lewis just biffed it.
It was just the one tyre though.
Yeah,
because it was just the back left.
The alternative one I was going to offer was Antonio Giovinazzi in Spain, but that's because there was a puncture in the tyre, not that they didn't have the tyre. So that's slightly different because they discovered the tyre was flat and then needed a new set. Not quite, oh, look, there's a car. Oh, wait, we're supposed to have a tyre. Ferrari doing their best to make the meme of 3 wheels on my wagon come to life.
And also leaving the spare wheel gun too far behind him and Perez running over it.
Hey, Perez got some mad hops off that wheel gun. That's more just down to the fact that the Zandvoort pit lane is tiny. But still, yeah, that wheel gun was in the way.
You would have thought because it's tiny, you'd be a bit more conscious of where everything is.
I mean,
it is granted, it is a pit stop.
It's Ferrari, and they weren't even conscious of how many tires they had.
That's a good point.
So why would they be conscious of where their spare wheel gun was when they haven't even got a wheel to put on the car?
Surely you just have it ready though. Just have the wheel gun in your hand ready.
Well, he had the primary one. It was the spare one he had. So because they have to have 2 of everything.
Put off Perez. That's what that was a decoy strategy.
And they're just trying to give Perez a flat tire and sort of make him go home for another stop.
They're trying to damage his car.
I'm surprised it didn't do anything.
It was okay.
Yeah. I know everything looks worse in slow motion, but that was a big jump off that wheel gun.
And it's like wheel gun is a big bit of metal compared to rubber.
Yeah.
They were new tyres, I think, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that helps, but still.
Another Ferrari blunder. Have we had Mattia Binotto on the pit wall this week? And he just described it as a mess. So how long until he gets fired?
Well, that's not his fault, is it?
At the end of the day, he is running the
mean,
team.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's not just yesterday's mess up that's going to land at his doorstep. It's the entire season.
There's quite a lot.
Because pretty much everything after Australia has been a gradual downhill descent.
Yeah, but how far can you go? Because it seems like they've got to this point. It seems like they can't go down any further. But
you join us next week for Ferrari Limbo. How low can they go?
Yeah.
It's like they're just trying to go, look, we're going to have a head start. How far down the championship can we finish? Like, they went at it. They were like, okay, so without a head start, we finished 6th, and that's the worst we've managed. With a head start, how far down can we fall?
It's like they've negotiated with F1 that they're allowed to have the best car, but the worst strategy team in the world.
Spent all of their money on car and literally had nothing left, so just had to steal people off the street and dress them in red and say, pick a strategy. No, it's like the Simpsons meme where in the movie, it's like, I've given you 5 strategies. Number 3. Doesn't even... Number 3. It's just... They have so many strategies, and yet somehow it's always the wrong one. Except for Charles this weekend. His actually went quite well. The only thing that wasn't great was the timing of the VSC. But that's not Ferrari strategy fault, because that's not
Red Bull strategy.
That's not something that they can control. So I'm not going to blame that on them. So aside from that, I think Charles's strategy was actually decent.
Yeah,
because he made the stop at the end to go onto softs, where Mercedes showed us that not changing to softs was the wrong option.
Yeah. So
Mercedes made the Mercedes outsourced their end of race strategy to Ferrari. So that's why they got it wrong. But yeah, I think Charles' strategy was actually decent.
Yeah, they just followed Verstappen's pretty much, didn't they?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's winning races. He's obviously doing something right. Just copy him.
Yeah.
So, what do you reckon? That's plan V.
That's plan. Oh, you don't know what we're doing. Just copy them.
They're winning. Do what they do.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? Wheel go. Lack of tire. Eat. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting race, purely because it wasn't a one-stop. It looked slightly easier to overtake than last year.
Yeah.
It was, however, still that much of a challenge. I think it's probably the first time this season where we've really seen the cars struggle to overtake.
Monaco.
I mean, yeah, but it's Monaco, mate.
Still counts.
He's got a point. It does count.
Yeah, but it's like
to overtake.
You always struggle to overtake in Monaco.
Spa against Albon.
I mean, he's just a rocket ship.
Struggle to overtake. Well, it's not a struggle to overtake. You can overtake.
He's just too quick. Man's rapid.
Oh yeah. Let's see it at Monza.
Yep, that's what I'm betting on it.
Yeah.
Not literally, but like predictions.
Whack the house on it.
No thanks. It's not mine.
Mum, I've left the house.
Mom, we need to move.
And you do too.
Oh God. Oh,
We need to move. Also, we have no car anymore as well.
great. Everything. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, it had moments where it was sort of toing and froing. The fact that Mercedes were trying the one stop was quite interesting, because I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that both suggested strategies from the Pirelli graphic were two stops. And it was either you did soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft, something like that. So the fact that Mercedes went medium hard, and the hard actually worked, which was a miracle in its own right. And Ferrari are scratching their heads going, but why doesn't it work when we put them on? I think that added quite a lot, because there were definite points in the race where it wasn't going Max's way. Like, you could look at it on paper and go, oh, look, Max was on pole, Max won. But that was boring. But everything in between was kind of up in the air. So it wasn't until the safety car, well, if you said that before, that things were really decided. And once again, Lewis didn't fit the new tyres law. But yeah, I think it was a good race. I don't think it was like the best race, but I still think it was good.
So yeah, they said the quickest strategy was soft, medium, medium, and then soft, medium, soft.
I was
The
right.
only one stop there was soft to hards, or apparently soft to medium somehow.
Kind of F1 game strat is that?
Yeah.
Your tyre wear is at 98%.
Yeah, medium to hard was not there at all.
There you go. I mean, that would have been what George ran, but then, George made the call to make the extra stop.
That's what George and Lewis done.
Yeah, it was obviously a good call. They'd obviously done the work to, as long as they could switch the tyre on, it was good to go, and it worked. So, yeah. That's been the big thing for Mercedes, hasn't it? Being able to actually get the tyres up to temperature.
Yeah.
But I feel like they sort of operate on the lower end of the window, which means that their tyres last longer. Whereas you see, like, the Haas has struggled with tyres overheating, which means that they have to make earlier pit stops. So, but they don't struggle with the immediate warm up. So I guess, there's two different ways of going about it. So, BSC. Yuki Tsunoda exits the pits, complains over the radio of what he suspects is a loose tyre, undoes his belts. Team says, no, the tyre's attached. Come back. Yuki starts the car again, trundles back to the pits, puts some more new tyres on, has his seatbelts redone up, leaves the pits, something's still broken, stops on track, safety car. No, that was just the VSC, wasn't it? It was Bottas that caused the safety car.
Yeah, Bottas.
That took him age.
But
we'll come on to that.
Carlos's perfect overtake.
Yeah, they got undone. I mean, it was a weird one. Naturally, Twitter and a certain driver's fan base, not naming names, but we all know whose, has gone off and it's a conspiracy. It's clearly Red Bull trying to get Max to win. Why? They're over 100 points clear in the constructors. He's over 100 points clear in the drivers. Okay, so that's after the result. So he's 80 points clear during the race. He doesn't need any help. He's got it in the bag.
Lewis needs that race win.
So the fact that people are trying to pass it off as some conspiracy theory that AlphaTauri are actually just working for Red Bull, no.
Do you see that AlphaTauri literally put out a statement saying like it was a technical issue, it had no conspiracy, like it was nothing to do. A lot of people are hating on Hannah Schmidt because they're thinking like, oh,
because she's the head of strategy.
Yeah, they were loving her last week, and
an incredible job.
She's so good. She can manage 2 teams. Ferrari really need her help. But no, it's just nuts, and it's just the scale of delusion is
it's bad,
unreal.
It's also not that deep either. It's like, come on.
No, he said he thought the wheel was loose, so the team have obviously just checked with the mechanics and on the data, and they've all gone, it was attached when the guns said it was attached, because they all have the sensors on the guns now to say the wheel's attached. So the mechanics have all gone, it's not me. So they've told him to carry on. He's come back to the pits, they've changed it, and then he said, I think he said something like the diff was broken. Yeah, well, that's a completely different. That's not the wheel. But if the diff is broken, you'd have diff slip, which might make it feel like the wheel's not attached properly because one is moving at a different speed to the other. It's so, like, come on. Engage some brain cells that obviously some people don't have.
It's F1 Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be lucky to find a brain cell.
I can't wait for rocket-powered Mohawk's take on this. That's going to be spicy.
There's people moaning at George Russell as well.
Yeah.
Using the right strategy.
The
cost Lewis the win.
The memes I saw of like Lewis, it's that meme of the guy in bed like looking at the photograph. The photograph is Lewis and Valtteri. It's just like, if Valtteri had made that call, it would have been stay out. I kind of like the fact that A, George made the call for himself.
Yeah.
B, the team backed him, and C, the team actually let him do it. Like, fair play. The run of no Hamilton wins continues.
Getting closer.
It is getting closer. There's a couple of stats that are a bit against him. So Lewis now has over 300 race starts, and no driver after their 300th race start has ever won a race.
Go.
Oh dear.
But then stats are there to be broken.
True, and there's not exactly a large pool to take there. There's like 6 drivers, of which Lewis is one. And then you've got, Barrichello, Kimi, Alonso. Alonso was in the absolute dog of like the 2016 McLaren, so he wasn't exactly going to be winning races then, was he? In fairness, Kimi was in a Ferrari for a while, but then moved to Alpha.
Yeah, and then even then at Ferrari, they're still Vettel.
Yeah.
So
it makes me wonder what race number Kimi's win in America was.
God knows.
But that's some research for another time. Actually, speaking of Alpha, Bottas stopping the car on the inside just before turn 1.
Genius.
I mean, let's race control this year has been okay,
Yeah.
but race control to yesterday was asleep. That's the only reason I can give for that, because that was so slow to do anything beyond a yellow flag.
It was a solid couple laps or that.
It was,
So you can see Bottas stopped right before the apex.
and it's on the world
safety
feed, and you're
car.
like, right, okay, just press the safety car button. That's not that hard, is it? So, but was Burnt on the toilet or something? Had Burnt gone for a piss? Is that what the problem was? We didn't have a safety car driver, because that would be the most hilarious thing. Just like safety car. That Burnt's not here right now. Can I take a message?
I think everyone would respect that as well. But right.
All right, yeah. Just leave it.
Break. Fair enough.
leave it on the yellows for a second. Hang on a minute. But then, even then, just put it on the VSC at least. Like the fact that it was just yellow flags, and it resulted in the whole Carlos Sainz Esteban. It was Esteban he was overtaken, wasn't it? Yeah, it was one of the Alpines. But it resulted in that
Perez?
whole like.
Was it Perez?
I thought it was one of the Alpines. Oh God, I don't know.
I see. I'm getting out of the highlights.
But it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been a thing. It should have been called as a safety car or a VSC long before they even got to turn one. Because by that point, Valtteri's been stationary for like a minute and a half. So what's going on? It's honestly nuts. But yeah, that's about all the bashing I can do of the stewards this week, I think. Actually, Carlos's 5-second penalty, was it an Alpine?
Yeah, it's Ocon.
Yes! I'm a genius. But okay, what do you think of Sainz's 5-second penalty?
What, unsafe release?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unsafe release.
I think it's a bit harsh, because he's slowed down after he's released to avoid hitting a McLaren personnel.
Yeah, but then it's the team's fault for letting him out at that time.
Or is it McLaren's fault for being in the way, and therefore the circuit's fault for having a really short pit lane?
It was McLaren's genius work of
getting him a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, holding him up.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit harsh. I feel like any other circuit with the size pit lane, the gap that he was actually released into, he'd have been fine. But it was just the fact that he had to slow down to avoid the people because the pit lane was congested, and that's what resulted in it. But yeah, is what it is.
Yeah.
Harsh one, but that's the nature of the circuit more than anything, I guess. Nia?
Hold on, I'm doing maths. Right, so you said you want to know what race number Kimi's was when he last won.
Yes.
290.
10 before the cutoff.
Yeah. So
that might be like the highest number of races entered to win a race, which is nuts. That's a great stat for like random trivia, isn't it? What's the highest number of races entered that somebody's actually then gone on to win the race?
So that's too hard to work out.
It's got to be. Like, nobody's won it in 300. Those are the only real drivers that you're looking at.
Who's hold on.
Most Formula One races
Over 300
entered.
Yeah, so I'd say it's probably Kimi.
So the top 4 is Kimi, Alonso, Barrichello, Button.
So you want it 290. He has 349. Alonso won't be close because of McLaren Honda.
Yeah,
Barrichello. I doubt,
Barrichello
'cause he was
retired in
Williams.
2011.
Yeah, but he's in
Multiple-
Williams.
Button
Yeah,
retired in
so Williams-
2017, and that was, dog of McLaren.
It-
I think it is. I think it
I
is.
think
I'm working out
Barrichello might be
Jensen's now.
close. Because Barrichello has. Well, no, actually, because there'd be like 20 races in a season. So.
Okay, so Jensen's is 231. Look.
Yeah, I think it'd be Kimmy.
Probably.
But if Lewis wins, then it will be him.
Right. Let's go over the prediction results, shall we?
But one thing
Oh,
I want to
Rubens was
say-
279.
still not
Honestly,
So
290. There we go.
Kimmy's is highest.
It's gonna pain to say this, but I want to say well done to Stroll on points. Agenda aside, he had a decent weekend. He's proved us all wrong. Yeah.
Benedict Wong.
He's proved us all wrong.
Benedict Wong.
Wrong for one weekend. I hope it stays as one weekend. One weekend.
He's
I
on.
can't speak.
He's on 5 points now,
Yeah.
but the only points he's got are for finishing 10th. He's finished 10th
Yeah.
5 times this season, and that's it.
But he's done it again.
Yeah.
So, well done to him. I hope you're happy.
I mean, he did. he did.
Decorum.
What a sad.
Congrats, you proved us, a bunch of couch commentators, wrong.
It just reminds me of what a sad little life change.
Right, predictions. Let's do lap down showdown. Nia, you won. Because
lose count now.
you were closest with lap 30. He was lapped before lap 30, basically. And you had the lowest number. So that was you. He finished 1 lap down and everyone guessed Latifi. So yeah, you won. Bold predictions. Ben, Bottas, best of rest. No.
I've been playing too much F1 Manager.
Yeah. Chris said that Perez would crash and DNF. He did not. Nia, you said there was a double Alpine DNF. There was double Alpine points. And I said Ferrari perfect plan Leclerc. So I feel like I'm actually. I mean, they didn't screw him up.
Yeah. Perfect plan there. I feel like perfect plan. He's got to win the race.
I did state in last week's podcast that because of my podium predictions, the perfect plan was to finish 4th.
Oh, but yeah, it's more than perfect then.
So I'm taking my point. Podium predictions. I came last this week with 4 points. Ben, Chris, and Nia all tied on 5 points, and Sonia won with 7 points. Social media predictions. Tay won with 6 points.
Hold on. Going back to the stats about the wins. Michael Schumacher.
Yes.
289.
That's close.
Yeah. And
What race was that?
That was
2005 USA Grand Prix.
2006
Oh,
Chinese Grand Prix.
Yes, someone wasn't happy with that.
has someone just fallen down the stairs? Have you been injured in an accident at work?
It took me a second to realize what we're talking about because it's door closing. I'm so used to it. It took me a second.
Man, that was loud. Jesus.
I think that was my brother's door because like my door's there. His door was literally like where the light switch is, his door is there. So yeah, it was him. Took me a second to realise who you were talking about.
While we're on furniture, what's going on with your chest of drawers?
Been smashed by Toto Wolf.
F1 Authentics.
That was my other brother. This was his room. Those are his chest of drawers.
I can't tell if they've just smashed up or put on wrong.
No, I think they just broke because they're so old and he's too aggressive.
Yeah, you can tell that by the door.
That's Sean. That's the one you met
Yeah.
with the door. This is a different one.
Speaking of aggressive, Haas released a new line of merch featuring Gunther Steiner. It's so popular, it crashed the Haas website. I don't know why they hadn't released it sooner, but by God, that's some good merch. And if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I think the website's back up by now. I hope it is. Right. Formula 2?
Yeah.
Formula 2. Drogovic on pole. Drogovic race win.
Yeah, Porsche crashed in quali.
Not the way.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Lewis
But wait,
Hamilton.
there's more.
It's the last one now. Lewis Hamilton, 288.
So there's literally 288, 289, 290.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, 288 is Saudi Arabia last year, isn't it?
Yes.
That's amazing.
So we could maybe have the first one past 300. Likely, probably not.
I don't want it to happen. Just because that's a really nice stat.
I reckon it will.
It probably will, yeah.
Maybe not this year, but
Yeah, Mercedes has definitely been moving forward, so I could see next year they'd get like a couple of wins. Like, let's say, you know, it just takes Red Bull to have a race like they did in Bahrain, but a more competitive Mercedes could have won that race.
Yeah.
Instead of just being third.
Or it just takes them to have a engine problem and then
Job's done.
Ferrari would mess it up themselves. So
yeah, I mean, it's Ferrari at this point.
yeah.
It's the brand now.
Ferrari, we mess it up.
Yeah.
I think we're right.
So Porsche crashing in quali is not exactly the way you want to try and move your championship fight forward, because there's now only 2 rounds left, and Porche's on 164 points, and Drogovic is on 233 points.
As much as I hate to say it, because my favourite F2 driver is Porsche, I'm surprised he stayed in second for this long. Because when was the last time he won a race?
Budapest.
Or got a podium?
He won Budapest's feature race. That was only 2 rounds ago. The last race before summer. And then the round before that, he got second. And then 2 rounds before that, he got second.
So he seems to have more bad luck than podiums.
Yeah, there's it's either 18 or 0. That's kind of it. But yeah, there's a lot less zeros in Drogovic's row. As they say, consistency is key.
Especially in FT.
Yeah. Feature race for Formula 2 tried to do its best impression of Formula 1 Mugello safety car restarts. Was a bit daft, wasn't it? There was penalties applied post-race. We finally got it, folks. Roy Nissany has been banned. He has hit 13 penalty points and will not be racing at Monza.
Chris is devastated.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I want to see if I can find the actual document for that, actually. I'm going to do a Chris.
Chris not post it.
Oh, I haven't seen a document for months. It's been great.
Chris hasn't been here. F2. That's all the F3 documents, F2 documents. That's quali. No, he hasn't posted anything since F2 quali. He's slacking big time.
I'm going to be totally honest. I completely forgot Spa happened. And I kept thinking this weekend was Spa.
No, it's Monza.
No, I mean, Zandvoort was Spa.
Oh.
I kept thinking it. I was like, well, why is there so much orange? It's Zandvoort. But there's even more orange in Zandvoort.
Car 16, breach of Article 39.3, accrual of penalty points. There we go. Driving in a dangerous manner while the safety car was deployed. There we go. Boom. Right. 10-second time penalty was added to Roy Nissany. 2 penalty points were added, taking the total to 13 points. Car 16 has received 13 penalty points for the 2022 season. Car 16 is suspended for the next event. 12 penalty points will be removed, so he's still on 1 penalty point. Beautiful. I love that it's not a hard reset and you just get set back to 0, because it means you can still, like when that one round where someone got 7 points. If Roy had done that, he'd be on like 5 still. And another race ban would be on the cards. But no, I'm just amazed it's taken this long into the season for him to get banned. But
has he been banned before?
Not this season.
Yeah. Yeah, when was the last time he got banned? So last season.
I don't know. I think he might have been, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't. Just because they just never seem to give him the penalty he actually deserves for the driving that he commits. Anyway, back on topic of Formula 2. I know Nissany is Formula 2, but you know, Drogovic has this in the bag, surely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you should do.
MP Motorsport are now at the top of the constructors.
Yeah.
So I think it's the first time they've been top of the constructors as well, which is
so. They were usually kind of towards the back for the ones.
Good. They've had a good year.
Yeah. Well, one of their drivers has had a good year.
Yeah, but I mean that's all you need, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, no offense to the Formula 2 and Formula 3 teams, but nobody really remembers who the constructors champions were. People only remember.
It's been Prema for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's because it's normally Prema. Yeah. But no, except when George won it, because that was ART.
No, when George won it, it was Carlin.
I thought it was with ART.
Carlin was Lando.
Yeah, no.
George was ART.
Oh, George but the constructor was
constructors
right,
was Carlin.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that, but
well,
the more you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, he's like what 80 odd points ahead. 2 rounds left. He just needs 20 points this weekend.
Probably a win.
If he
Yeah,
wins
maybe
this
not.
weekend, he's mathematically safe. He's done it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Porcher fails to score, he's done it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the championship is most likely going to be decided this weekend. It would take Djokovic having a DNF. I think
two DNFs really.
Well, yeah, to keep it open, and Porcher would have to win, get pole and fastest lap.
Yeah.
And win the sprint.
He's an ART. It's not good.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good, Bev.
It's not
It's not
looking good,
good.
bruv.
F3, on the other hand, is somewhat closer still. And that has its last round this weekend. So this is it.
Is it a triple one again?
Yeah, it's all three categories have a triple header.
All hands on deck.
Yeah. But Victor Martins leads the way on 126 points. Isaac Hajar is now in second place on 121 points. Roman Stanek has jumped up to third and is on 109 points. Oliver Behrman has dropped to fourth and is on 106 points. Zane Maloney in fifth is on 102, and Arthur Leclerc in sixth is on 101. So I'd say that's mathematically it for who can win the championship, pretty much. I think Jack Crawford technically could still win it, but he'd need to do absolutely everything.
Punt off Leclerc, Malone, Behrman, Stanek, Hajar, Martins in both races.
Easy peasy.
Easy win.
You see, speaking of F3, did Correa get a podium?
Oh, Juan Manuel Correa.
I think he got.
He got 9 points in the sprint race, which means he finished second.
His first podium since he's come back to racing.
It's good.
Do you say racing?
Racing. Come back to racing.
We go racing in one war.
Dubs only.
Oh God.
We're on Formula E's case, and we go green.
And we go wee in Formula E. But yeah. So I think those are the ones that have a chance of winning it for Formula 3. I think it's probably going to come down to a slugfest between Martins and Hajar. Roman Stanek.
If the other two have a really bad weekend.
Yeah, I'd say Stanek has to win the feature race.
Yeah.
And have a decent sprint. Even then.
Like if he wins the feature race, he'll get he'll be on 134 points, which is only 8 points more than Martins is currently on. So Martins could put it on pole. That's another couple of points. Fastest lap for a point. So that's 3. And then you just need to finish either fifth in the sprint or 7th in the feature, and he'd do it.
When's F1's next sprint race? I was going to say feature race. Sprint race.
Brazil.
When is Brazil?
November.
Okay.
I think it's November. It's late in the year, isn't it? So
I guess November 12th.
Third last
That's my
round.
punt.
Our survey says.
Oh, what a huge dub.
You got Saturday.
Yeah, you got quali, mate. That is actually no, that is sprint race day, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's on the head.
You all doubted me.
Prove the haters wrong.
Yeah. Who's laughing now?
All right, let's have a bit of fun. Who's going to win Formula 3 championship?
I'd say Hajar.
Hajar looks a bit more consistent.
Yeah, that's what I'd say Hajar.
Yeah.
I'll go Martins then.
Boring.
Well, I was going to go Stanek, but
I think Stanley's too much of a punt.
yeah, I mean he's got good form in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, it's too little, too late. I think.
Yeah, I think they'll have to have like first two will have to crash into each other both races for him to win, really.
Even then, Maloney's come into form at the end of the season. He's won
Back-to-back feature races.
Yeah.
I honestly I could see the top 5 all getting seats in Formula 2.
Well, Behrman's probably going to go to Prema because he's with Prema now.
And that's their usual thing of you do well, you get promoted.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Depends which one of the two from Prema is going to leave then. Although he could do what Ollie Caldwell did and go to the lower team in Formula 2.
Yeah. So, because I mean, Leclerc in 6. Is Leclerc going to stick around in Formula 3? Is he going to get called up to Formula 2?
I doubt it because
He's not had
last year he wasn't great. He had decent qualifying, but not race pace.
He's had,
and I think his overtaking is a bit.
He's had 2 feature race podiums and a sprint race podium, and that's it. He's had 2 4th places in a feature race as well.
I think his race craft still needs a bit of work for it to be moved up to Formula 2.
I think it's also his consistency in qualifying as well. He got unlucky with the timing of like red flags and such this weekend, but you know that's not the same with every weekend. Right. Let's. Well, I mean, we're on this weekend now anyway, so let's do predictions. It's Monza time. The Tifosi.
The famous Monza.
Ben, pole position.
Max Verstappen.
Nia.
Max.
Chris has gone Leclerc. Sonia has gone Leclerc. I have gone Leclerc.
But you're getting drawn in.
I believe. He's starting to believe. Nia, podium.
Considering for the last 2 years, Monza has been a bit, that's different. Hamilton.
Oh.
Hamilton.
Considering Monza's been a bit different the last 2 years, picks the guy that probably should have won it the last 2 years.
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, I know.
You wouldn't expect them to win. Let's check Esteban in second. And Lando in third.
Ben?
Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc.
I'm going to go for Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell. Bold prediction, Ben.
Can I say Albon points?
How many times has he scored points this season?
4. I
He has 4 points.
He has 4 points.
He has 4 points. I don't know if that's 4 10th places or 1 and a couple ninths.
The only people below him are Nicholas Latifi and Nico Hülkenberg.
Let's do some research. Races. Because he
got a point in Belgium, 2 points in Miami, and 1 point in
so
Australia.
Okay, there you
2
go.
10ths and 1 ninth.
So do you want to just say points or do you want to be bold?
Oh,
And say like season's best finish?
Yeah, let's say P8 then.
Okay.
But if he gets like 10th or 9th, I get half a point.
Okay, fine.
Get in.
Nia.
a Ferrari and a Red Bull collide, but not necessarily crash out. They collide.
Oh, God, what have I just seen?
I don't know. I don't know if I
What
want
have
to
you
know.
just seen?
MotoGP signs deal to stage race in Saudi Arabia.
Great, more money. Sorry, what?
Money.
Right. My bold prediction will be. Wait, hang on. Let's be really savage here. Netherlands. That was a 3-8. Belgium was a 3-6. Hungary was a 4-6. France was a 5 DNF. Austria was a 1 DNF. Great Britain was a 1-4. Okay, so that was the last time it happened. I'm going to say both Ferraris in the top 5. Because it has not happened since Great Britain.
No.
Lap down, showdown.
But it's also probably because their strategy hasn't been good since Silverstone either.
All the cars have blown up, all the drivers have crashed. A multitude of things. Either way, it is what it is. I will say it will be Nicholas Latifi. Oh, there are 53 laps of the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, by the way. So I'm going to go for Latifi. I'm going to say lap 20. It's quite a quick circuit. I'm going to say lap 22. And he will finish 2 laps down. Ben.
I'm going to say Kevin Magnussen on lap 28, 1 lap down.
21. Nia.
Latifi, 20, 2 laps down.
Whoa, it's different. Feeling okay. And we haven't had any predictions on social media. I put my picture out and everything. But yeah, that wraps it up for this week.
Someone's put Ferrari sadness.
I mean, yeah, but that's just this season.
It's not really a bold
prediction.
Is it? It's not a bold one.
Is it a prediction or is it just a statement? Or is it both?
Yeah, I was going to say both.
On that note, that wraps it up for this week.
There's one thing.
Oh God! Oh yeah, Piastri.
Oscar.
Oh God!
Yeah.
I didn't want
to. Massive L.
I didn't want to talk about it.
I completely forgot that.
No, I just didn't want to talk about it. It's really just sort of soured my opinion of McLaren.
Yeah.
To know that Oscar signed after the British Grand Prix weekend. And
before Daniel put out that thing saying, I'm committed to McLaren to the end of 2023. Which apparently he knew he'd signed with it before he put that post out.
It's bad, but I also find it quite funny that Zach Brown just took shots at Otmar, and then
No,
it's
it's-
actually come true.
I mean, yeah. Otmar's taken a massive L here.
He's taking a
Someone-
gigantic L.
Someone at the Alpine Contracts Board is getting fired. Yeah. Big
Alpine-
L.
Alpine have been fined a lot for it, haven't they? It's like a couple 100,000, isn't it?
Yeah, that's more like legal fees than anything, to be honest.
But still, it's a lot.
They had to pay the McLaren side of legal fees. That's basically it. Because they took it to the board and they lost.
Oh.
You pay. So it would have been the other way round if McLaren
Yeah.
had lost. So, you know, all's fair in love and war and all that shazazz. But Daddy, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm not fine. I'm definitely not fine.
You'll get over it.
I won't. Not for a while. I'm gonna have to go and process this again now that you've brought it up.
But
Thanks for that.
apparently, Red Bull are seeking a deal for Colton Herta.
Yeah. Because Gasly is now apparently the hot favourite to join Alpine.
Alpine, yeah. Which I mean,
Pe-
if they
why-
don't get
Question.
Gasly, then they are screwed.
Why doesn't Daniel go back to Alpine? Because people are saying he can't, but I'm not sure.
I don't know why you can't.
Ah,
He can, but it depends if he wants to go back there and if Alpine want him there.
that's
Yeah.
true, yeah. So there's no like reason apart from them just not agreeing to it that you
Probably,
can't go.
Because
Ah.
realistically, if you have Gasly and Ricardo, as much as you love Danny,
Gasly's probably better for the
Gasly's
team.
better choice probably.
Yeah, because he
Unless
can.
I
he
don't know,
wants
because
to-
like Ocon and Gasly famously don't get on.
I think they might be
Yeah.
okay now.
Yeah, but we've seen Ocon
There's
and
been-
Alonso be okay in the paddock and then go at it on the racetrack and not exactly
true,
be good
yeah.
friends. So
Plus Ocon and Daniel. Don't know why I said one last
I don't
one.
know,
Was
it's
not.
just
We know they get along on track as well.
yeah, I mean, and I don't see why they wouldn't take Daniel back. He scored podiums in that Renault.
And he really
yeah.
knows the team.
He spent 2 seasons there. He's got
could've-
an understanding of it.
Yeah, they could have changed some people. Like Otmar is new there, but like,
But the main
he
core
knows-
of the team is going to be the same.
yeah, he'll know most of them. So it's
Yeah.
probably some ways it's better for Daniel to go back, but in other ways it's better for Pierre to go in.
I mean, there's 2 sides of me. One that says pick Danny because he has experience with the team, experience with the car. I mean, I know there's new regulations and that, but he has that experience and he's done well within the team structure before. The other side of me says pick Gasly. He's younger. He'll
He'd be there for longer.
Yeah.
Maybe
you could
It's-
sign him on a longer contract and it wouldn't raise
Yeah.
as many eyebrows.
it's very much short term, long term, I feel.
Yeah.
So if you go short term, you go with Danny, he knows most of the team. It should work. And then with Gasly, you could be like,
I mean, it's kind of like Mercedes. When they came back, they brought back Michael Schumacher. That was never going to be a long-term thing,
No.
was it?
yeah.
But it was what they needed to get the understanding of the car and to get them up and running. And then they brought in their long-term project, Lewis Hamilton, and look where it left them. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen with Alpine, but
But couldn't
you could
really-
bring in. I know they've had Alonso. And
yeah,
that's
couldn't
been
you
all
say
well and good.
Alonso was the Michael in that sense?
Yeah, but Piastri was going to be the.
That is true, yeah. But in that sense, you could say Gasly is the Hamilton in that case then, where it's a long term, you know he's going to most
yeah.
likely stay there for a while.
And yet, when asked, Ocon said his preferred pick was Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, Mick Schumacher could also be a good choice. Because
The only
again,
thing I see with Gasly is that he could use Alpine as a stepping stone to get up to a Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari again.
I don't think he'd go back to Red Bull. If he goes to
I
Alpine,
I think it's
I'm
Red
not saying
Bull
that
that
he
don't want
would.
him back.
but I'm
But-
saying if he goes to Alpine, I don't think that. I think all connection with Red Bull would probably go. It'd probably be
Yeah.
like Alex, where it'd be. I'm still sponsored by Red Bull, but I'm no way affiliated to the F1 Red Bull.
Yeah,
I
on the
think it'd
lid,
probably
but that's
be-
it.
Yeah, it's just
Another case of that.
a way of him getting back to a top team.
Yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me really wants to see Mick because, I mean, also Gasly is currently signed to a contract with AlphaTauri for 23. So Alpine would have to pay AlphaTauri to release Gasly from that contract. And
already lost
then
enough
Alpine-
money.
Yeah, and then Alpine would have to pay Gasly his wages as well. So
And
that's
lost-
an expensive option.
Yeah, because Gasly's probably going to cost at least $1 million, couple million.
Oh yeah, easy. Like these drivers
When
are
Mick-
paid like 3
Mick-
or 4 million easy. Mick would be a cheaper option.
Mick would
Danny
be,
would be a cheaper option.
yeah, but well, not necessarily for Danny.
Well, yeah, because he's just had a fat McLaren payout because he's been released
True.
for a year early from his contract.
True, but also with Mick, he's like a new talent. They can bring him up, bring that team, keep him there for ages, and they can
Especially
kind of
seeing as
use-
he's just left the Ferrari Driver Academy.
exactly. And with Gasly, he might not be there for long, but he could be, and he's going to be more expensive.
Well, apparently Gasly's on 4 mil. So
And Mick's only on like $1 million or something.
Mick's on 800k apparently.
There you go.
So-
I
Nice
don't
and
know
cheap.
how.
So it's going to be a lot cheaper to employ Mick than Pierre.
Yeah, purely just from the fact that you'd have to pay to release him from an existing contract.
And the millions you'd have to pay him salary.
Yeah.
Alongside Esteban, who's also probably on millions.
So there we go. That's the
Interesting.
latest of the transfer merry-go-round.
Silly season.
Woo! It's in full force after the silly season. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We love it. But anyway, that should finally bring us to a close. We will see you again at the same time next week, where we'll be joined by, well, hopefully joined by Chris and all of his, no doubt, Monza slow-mo flag shots. Woo!
Yeah, genius.
Looking forward to those. Wow,
On a podcast.
never see. Yeah, I know, right? Never seen a slow-mo of the Italian flag on a Formula One broadcast before. But yeah, we will see you at the same time next week. Thank you for listening and or watching, and goodbye.